The bustle of a Saturday in Paris, and indeed there's a feeling here that this is a very special day at Roland Garros. At once it seemed a most unlikely stage, but indeed the clay of Paris has become the setting for Venus and Serena Act 2. Act 1 was in New York 9 months ago when these sisters last made this walk with a championship on the line. And today it has come to Paris. Venus and Serena, now unquestioned as the top 2 players in the world. And they walk onto the center court of the Terre 2 in Paris with the French Open Ladies Championship on the line. And welcome to our coverage here on NBC. Ted Robinson, Chris Evert, John McEnroe, pleased to have you with us for indeed a historic day. They're sisters, they're best friends, they're both champions. The one thing that they haven't yet been able to do is be competitors against each other in a match of this significance. Both Chris and John understand they've played against siblings. Chris, can this change it all today?
Yeah, I think Serena could win this match. And aside from the fact that she's played some great clay court tennis this whole tournament, especially against Jennifer Capriati, the defending champion, I think we have to remember she hasn't won a Grand Slam in 3 years. She's been very vocal about her desire to be #1 and win a Grand Slam. I think she's the hungrier of the 2 right now, and if she can just forget who she's playing, you know, a sister that she really loves, and play the ball, I think she's got a good shot.
Well, Serena's been torrid this year, and she's hungry. John, how does Venus fight that hunger?
Well, Venus is pretty hungry herself, and this is now the 8th time they've played, and Venus is the sister who's won the bigger matches, the 3 Grand Slam matches. Venus, incredibly, has played an average of 55 minutes a match so far. She's had a very easy time. I do think she's going to need to play her best tennis in order to win this particular match. And I've noticed something, though, Ted. Each time they've played, it's gotten closer and closer to seeing the real thing. And I think because this court is playing nice and slow, you know, the old Terre 2, I think we're going to see these 2 of them really go out and play a long match today.
Nothing, I think, would make the tennis world happier to see that. And somewhere in the United States, there is a proud father who will watch today. Bud Collins is also with us, and he'll be joining us in just a moment. When we come back, it's a Williams party today in the ladies' final.
Where's all my soul sisters? Let me hear your flow, sisters.
Hey, sister, go, sister, soul, sister, flow, sister, sister, go, sister, flow, sister, flow. Kitty, yeah, yeah, that's Pretty lady, Mona Lisa.
The French Open is brought to you by BNP Paribas. Playing tennis for 27 years, banking for more than a century. BNP Paribas, the bank for a changing world. By Lincoln, there are those who travel and those who travel well. By Evian. And by Franklin Templeton, gain from our perspective. Mostly sun on this Saturday at Roland Garros, a few scattered clouds. There is some wind. I'm not certain if it's quite as windy as it was yesterday, but that may be a concern for the players.
I'll tell you one thing, the crowd is way more electric as we see Venus Williams take her final serves, only 21, 6-1. She's had, as usual, an excellent year so far leading up to this French Open where she lost first round last year. Explaining why she's taken over the #1 ranking from Capriati. You can see, as I talked about, how easy a time she's had in getting to the finals. Monica Seles, who has won here 3 times in the past, the only player who had any sort of hope at all, and that was a pretty one-sided affair as well.
Venus will turn 22 next week, about 15 months older than Serena. Chris, she can't be 5'8". Not anymore.
Yeah, no, she's 5'8",
Really?
age 20. $803,000 in prize money. She's only played 6 tournaments. That's not too bad. She played a couple of Slovakians in the first round. Suha and Husarova had a test against Baraneva, a very talented Russian player. Lost that first set. Mary Pierce easy, but Mary Pierce has been out with injuries. And then, of course, defending champion Jennifer. Now it's 5. She's up 5-0 against Jennifer.
4 of them
this year. So Venus and Serena getting set, and let's join the other member of our broadcast team, Bud Collins.
Ted, when the sisters Sledgehammer, Venus and Serena, got up into the top 10, a lot of journalists, myself included, said now they need professional coaching to bring them that last lap. But when they were asked, they said, our mother and father are our coaches, and those are people without tennis backgrounds. Well, Richard Williams does have a knack in finding a headline, but Oracene, who is here with him, the mother, has been just as important an influence, if not more so. So, when you look at them, we thought they were naive, keeping mom and pop, but mom and pop haven't done too badly, have they?
And as we alluded to, Richard has not been here during this fortnight. He was not in the audience at Wimbledon when they first met in the semifinals 2 years ago at a Grand Slam championship. Richard said, you know, when Venus and Serena play, to me, it's like a funeral. Well, then he also said it privately, his mom, Oracene, has been watching. He said privately in a story related by author John Wertheim in a book, he said, you know, when Venus and Serena play in the finals, I have already won.
Well, there's no question there. I'll tell you another thing that the Williams family has done extremely well is Chris, you've seen this the last couple of years. They have not played a lot of the same tournaments, which I think has helped them in the sense that they developed as players, gotten competition against other players, but not have to go against each other too often, because we both know how difficult that is.
Very smart. And then they can play the Grand Slams together and really see who comes out on top. But you don't think Oracene is a bundle of nerves right now, boy? When she laughs like that, that tells me she's nervous.
And Oracene made an interesting statement 2 days ago. She said she thinks Venus sometimes feels sorry for Serena because it's been 2.5 years since Serena has won a Grand Slam. And Oracene said, I'm almost leaning a little bit in the hopes that Serena can win one today.
Well, you talk about Richard and Oracene doing it their way, but these sisters have also used other resources in the tennis world. For a while, they were training with Rick Macy down in Florida. They've been to Bollettieri's. They've trained there. So Richard might have coached them, but they're still very, very clever in the resources that they choose. First time when I look at Serena that I really feel that there isn't as much fear there as there have been in previous matches when she's played her older sister.
Both of you were older siblings playing younger ones. Did the younger ones ever tell you how tough it was?
They never let me forget it.
They said it was tough, but we made sure they thought it was tougher. But you just pointed out a big difference. So we can't even compare with these two, how close in age they are together.
And ability. Serena would like to get a break right from the start here.
Serena's clearly the more excitable of the two. And she's going to come out and start to go for more like she did in the U.S. Open than perhaps she should. So she's just got to run around there, get some of these nerves out here early in this match. She doesn't want to get behind too quickly. She'd also love to see her sister get a low percentage of first serves in.
Or some double faults. I mean, you talked about the difference. These two are very, very different off the court. Venus, as you see, always looks focused. She's the poised one. She's the low-key one. She stays in her room all day if she has a big match. Whereas Serena is the emotional one and the flamboyant one and a little more carefree.
And a double fault, 2 of them in the game for Venus Williams. So Serena gets that quick break. For the latest French Open news and features, Chris Everett's analysis of today's final, Bud Collins with an in-depth preview of tomorrow's men's final, all at NBCSports.com.
Well, that was certainly a nice gift for Serena, not even having to hit a ball from 30-all and still go up a break.
Venus has had almost twice as many double faults as Serena has had during this championship. Do you think back to that U.S. Open final?
That ball was really close, and from up here it looked like it just nicked the line.
Well, the good news is on clay courts, as we well know, that you can see the mark, which the umpires has called out.
Sandra de Genkin from France, the umpire for this final.
Just shows you how far we are up here at the French Open. We could have sworn it was in.
I thought that ball was right on the line. See what Venus does with this second serve.
Out of that U.S. Open last year, 6-2, 6-4 Venus wins. She hit 7 winners the entire match. Serena, 36 unforced errors.
And your point?
That's astonishing. Do you ever win a final, either of you, hitting 7 winners?
Probably I did.
Yeah, as a matter of fact,
John,
he did.
He didn't want to say it, but he was too polite, but probably. Of course, my opponent made about 700 errors.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I'm excited being here, because this crowd is really anticipating and hoping for a tremendous 3-set match. You can just feel the energy here.
Well, and you can feel the seriousness from these 2 young women down there, too. I mean, I always felt like the U.S. Open, it was like a fiasco. There was so much hype, and, you know, the bands were playing the music, and by the time the match came around, it was so disappointing.
Hopefully the USTA isn't listening. Right?
Well, the match definitely didn't live up to the hype, but I think this match
But
very
they tried,
well
and so could have both, the great match and the little pomp and circumstance. Hardly surprising that both sisters have come out a little bit tight here in this monumental day, if you think about it. The 2 sisters, number 1 and 2 in the world. Does that ever happen in any other sport, even close?
It'll never happen in tennis again, that's for sure.
Now, that's a good question.
Besides the Watson sisters in 1884 at Wimbledon.
I think about the closest analogy anyone's come up with are the Unser brothers in Indy car racing.
That ball skipped off the line. Best point of the match.
Not too many drop shots that we see from Serena from either Williams. That was a good mix up of the pace.
Because it skidded off the line, Venus was a little bit behind the ball. Or should I say the ball was behind her. But what was that above us just the point before? They're trying to make us feel comfortable like we're in New York.
Do you think there's a decided edge, Chris, that Serena's a more natural clay court player? than Venus?
I don't. Well, I don't necessarily think she's the more natural, because I think she sprays more. You know, she's doesn't have the patience. I think Venus has more patience. They both move well. They move differently.
That's what I was wondering. Is Venus's
Right.
size
Well,
make her less?
But her reach is unbelievable, and she really does bend her knees down low to the ball, which is you don't see from tall players as much. Serena, her moving's a little different. She gets off the mark, I think, a little bit quicker, a little more explosive. But these two have to move as well, if not the best of any of the women players, even on clay, with what we've seen the last 2 weeks.
Nicely done by Serena, and she has the first 2 games.
Interesting that she's coming into the net a lot against Venus.
And here's Venus's year, which she went to Australia and was beaten in a surprise. Monica Seles took her out in the quarterfinals. 4 championships.
That was a huge surprise because she had never lost to Monica.
Venus at that Australian Open talked about cutting back at the end of this year on the amount of tennis she would play.
She's, on the other hand, she's talked about playing a little more because she wants that #1 ranking. So
they've both made a commitment to play, you know, a full schedule this year.
Venus, of course, very into fashion design, art design, taking courses, even continuing her work while she's here in Paris.
Didn't have to make it that good. Venus was hanging over the net. Look how close she is to the net. It didn't have to be this deep.
So far, Venus not getting her first serves in. Tipping about 20%.
Well, that's explains why she's having so much problem right now, because Serena can step inside the baseline like she's doing and take a full swing.
Venus, the one looking a little tight at the start of this match. Things could change, but right now she's the one that looks like she's reacting to the nerves.
That's where I think Serena's done a good thing. You talked about her serving and coming into net. She tried the drop shot. She's mixing it up a little bit more. That's calmed her down. It seems like she's learned from that last U.S. Open match. She's tried to hit through Venus. And her service, the second serve in particular so far, is really
let her down.
So 3 doubles already. 2 of them cost Venus her first service game.
Even the crowd, it's a bit unsettling and uncomfortable for the crowd. Do you feel they're not even into it yet? I mean, the applause is very polite, but they don't know who to pull for.
A measure, though, of the sisters is that there is a crowd. They're not an empty seat in.
what they're pulling for is, first of all, a 3-set match and a thriller. And then it's not going to matter who wins.
You sense that if they get into a long rally, Venus is going to come through. Just a little more consistent, a little more patient than Serena.
Seen amazing things yesterday. We saw two competitors, Costa and Karaich, in the men's semifinal, warm up on the same side of the net. Today, Venus and Serena warming up against each other before a couple of hours before a championship match.
That was really a well-played point by both players there, because here Serena tries to change the pace up. That ball kicked up quite high, and Venus, with the long reach that Chrissy talked about, was able to smack that winner up the line. That's where she makes up. But and you wonder how fluid she is moving on clay. She just covers so much ground.
There, side to side, Venus Williams was on the run the whole point. Those long legs carrying her from point to point there. Threw this one up, and Serena, a little hesitation there. I think she wanted to see where Venus was going.
Venus Williams.
In the semifinal match against Capriati, Serena Williams made 75 unforced errors and still won the match. So what does that tell you? She must have made a heck of a lot of winners.
It also tells you the way the men's and the women's game is played, that they go for so much more. I mean, I watch these two. It's incredible how good they are. And that they've improved in a 2 or 3 year period, and that they're actually, it's frightening to think they're going to get better. I mean, if they worked out the problems on their second serve, say.
And it is interesting because now the unquestioned top three players, the sisters and Capriati, all play the same style of tennis. Capriati doesn't probably have the serve, but
No, Jennifer definitely, after this week, needs to work on that serve, especially looking ahead to Wimbledon, where serve is really a weapon there. But Jennifer so far has been the only woman that's been able to keep up with these two. Lindsay Davenport's out with an injury. Martina Hingis is out for the moment.
so Venus with a hold and is on the board. Serena with the early break. Well, the obvious question to both sisters following their semifinal wins on Thursday would be the comfort level they would have facing the other in this championship match. Question posed first to Serena.
It's definitely gone. I think I don't really have time for this, because the psychological tingle, as you say, because, you know, this is really a final of a Grand Slam, and you never know what can happen in a couple of years. You never know if this opportunity can come again, and I don't want to make that mistake. I want to go out here and just really fight and do the best that I can.
Serena made another very telling comment the other day when someone was asking her about clinching the #2 ranking spot. She said, you know, you don't grow up dreaming about being #2. You grow up dreaming of winning Grand Slams and being #1.
She was 2 in the world, yet 2 in her own house.
Two at
so
the
she
dinner
grew up
table,
her whole life wondering if she could ever be better than Venus.
Well, she won that first Grand Slam at the U.S. Open, and Venus didn't appear to be too happy about that. I think she thought she was the first in line to win a Grand Slam.
But she did help her win that because she took an awful lot out of, was it Hingis?
Hingis,
And,
exactly.
she didn't have as much left in the final, so you give her
Exactly.
a little bit of credit
Wow.
to Venus there.
She won the next 4 Grand Slams. I mean, that got her going, I think, got her juices flowing.
It is Venus with a chance to level the match.
Just plays a good safe volley. Watches Serena, who's well off the court. Here's her chance to level. Serena slipping the concentration, a couple points, and Venus just jumping all over it.
Venus has been ruthless during the French Open, 72% on break points.
Both players avoiding eye contact, understandably so. Just at this point want to play the ball and not look at one another.
Almost staggering to think of the numbers of hours, thousands, maybe tens of thousands of hours these girls have hit to each other.
Venus a little tentative on the return. Serena is the one who goes on the attack. We see this more and more in the men's and women's game, that full swing and volley, rip cross court. That's a good time to try that shot. You're going over the low part of the net, you're playing it safe, and you see your opponents off the court anyway. Two doubles cost Serena her service game here.
So Venus Williams gets the first game of the match back. We're level at 2-all.
John, I don't know about you, but the serve was the first thing that went in my game when I was tight, when I was nervous, because, I mean, it's the one shot you have total control over. What happened to you when you got nervous?
The same thing. You have more time to think about it.
You're not reacting, you're just initiating all the moves.
It's like a free throw at the end of a game in a basketball series. It gets tougher and tougher as the game goes on. Your legs, you may be a little tight or tired. It's such a, by far, let's face it, serve is the biggest thing in tennis now, especially on the men's side. And you can see that either of these girls or Jennifer Capriati, if they were able to improve their serve, how much more difficult it would be to beat them. But there's only so many hours in a day, Ted, to practice.
Second serve in. Both these young women have been punishing second serves this whole tournament. I think that's why Jennifer went for a little too much on her first serve when she played Serena.
Another example.
At this point, I think she'd be better served just even spinning a first serve in until she gets a little bit more confidence. These two players that we're watching, the Williams sisters, have the fastest serves so far in this tournament. Venus has an edge, 119 to 117. Don't ask me to pronounce who was the third fastest.
Ganova, 113, and then Jennifer.
You know her. I tell
Yeah.
you, Roda Ganova.
All right, that ball was ruled to be on the line.
Probably better for Venus that it was initially called out because she was put on the defensive. Unfortunately for her, here comes another second serve.
And so now a chance for Serena to break back.
40% is pretty low. It's almost like who can dictate the point, who can get that first big shot and run the other one around. Chances are they're going to win the point.
That's a case where Serena's got to remember, let your racket do the talking. Don't jerk your body up too quickly. You got to swing through and come over the ball more to get that angle she was looking for.
Richard Williams used to make signs on their court saying, Serena, come over the ball more. Put some more topspin on that forehand.
The one thing Serena shows on this surface, she can slide.
She's got some pretty strong legs to get her.
She's shorter too.
Back
it's easier to slide. You know, when your center of gravity is lower. Venus has had problems sliding, I think, the whole tournament, but she says, listen, I'd rather step into the ball. I mean, in order to have a good slide, you've really got to get down low and bend your knees, and it's a little tougher for her.
But you pointed out, Chris, he does an excellent job bending those knees, hitting those ground strokes. So.
In early preparation, do you notice with Venus that racket is back as soon as her opponent is hitting the shot? She has that anticipation and that early preparation that really helps her. Appreciating that both players are playing tough, giving it 100%. This is a competitive match.
And you're so right about that early preparation. That helps her so often. And the technique, particularly, Venus is really superior. They've become far better match players, too. I mean, these are girls that barely played any tournaments growing up. Now that they're the ripe old age of 20 and 21.
Well, they've played an awful lot of pro tournaments compared to their peers.
The word was out that they never played junior tournaments, but actually Venus played 60 junior matches before the age of 10. And that's when Richard pulled them out of junior tennis, said, no, you're going to work on your game and not deal with these tennis parents. Concentrate on your schoolwork. And boy, they've more than made up for the matches. When they first came on the tour, they're definitely rusty, but no more.
They both defied what.
That's good, Richard Williams saying that. You know, those tennis parents are a little wacky.
He did. He
I
thought
want
they
to pull
were.
away from them.
But you know what's been good this 2 weeks? As proud a father as Richard Williams deserves to be, it's been quiet. And the focus has been on what these two girls are doing on the court, which is where it should be.
He's hatching some scheme somewhere right now, wherever he is.
Well, he's always been pretty much on the mark when it comes to what's the best thing for his girl. So, you know, maybe this is another good judgment call. Another observation he made about junior tennis was he sensed that all the juniors were protecting their game. When they went out in a match, they were pushing and, you know, just not going for their shots. And that's one of the reasons why he wanted the girls out of junior tennis, so they could work on an all-court game.
Let me ask you too. Do you think these two sisters have ever played a 6-deuce game ever before? Everything they do is so fast. And finally, Venus Williams, with a long struggle, able to hold and keep his first set on serve. Now the midweek matches in both weeks of this French Open have been plagued by rain, but thus far, as we cross all of our possible digits, the weekends have been good.
Sun's out, makes this court harder and a little bit faster, which favors both these young women.
They've played 5 games and been on court 32 minutes. Not a typical Williams match. I don't believe Venus has even averaged an hour on court in this French Open.
It's a good case of hitting from behind. Venus, usually if you're playing against a quick player, that's a good play. And if you're playing a slow player, you hit to the open court.
Because the footwork is so difficult on this surface as we look at these young women, I'm still amazed that Serena's only 5'8".
Well, I'm calling it out. They list her at 130 pounds.
5'8", 130, I doubt it.
Yeah, don't think so.
They have to update those media guides a little more.
I'm surprised the play isn't used more often where you go behind your opponent, though, because it's just tougher to get a quick start.
Yeah, especially on the clay when you're sliding. You have to slide. I always felt that when I played Martina Navratilova, I loved it when she came into the net, because I felt like if I could just wrong foot her at the net, it would be harder for her to change directions, whereas on a hard court, it's a lot easier.
So there it is, Ted, that clay court mentality. We're falling on our face at net.
And we're laughing.
Dinking lobs and hitting angles on us.
one thing I've noticed about Serena coming into the net is as good of a volley as she has, I don't feel that she yet has that instinct. Now, mind you, Venus is hitting some good passing shots, but I just don't feel that she's moving. The last 3 volleys, she's moved in opposite directions.
That can be where playing a little bit of doubles can help, as opposed to just practicing those ground strokes. She does have a tendency to run through those approach shots as well, which means she's not going to be prepared to hit a tough pass that Venus will throw at her.
Now a big point here for 4-2.
Good serves.
Of course, these sisters who make cameo appearances on the doubles circuit have a career Grand Slam in doubles, plus the Olympics gold medal.
Plus the Olympics.
For the last year and a half, they've only played one doubles match. That was at the U.S. or one doubles event at the U.S. Open last year.
Doubles is tough nowadays because it's more physically demanding to play singles, and these players are getting injured a lot. And you don't really want to have those extra 6 or 7 matches if you can help it. Oh, she had a good chance there. She had her racket on the ball. Once again, that topspin let her down.
So now we'll see what Venus does on a second serve break point. Creeping in. The break for Venus Williams, and now up 4-2 in the first set. Now Serena came out strong. Now Venus is charged back to take the lead.
And it shows me by those drop shots that I don't think Serena has enough confidence in herself to stay back and rally with Venus. Because those aren't normal shots that she hits, and so far her drop shots have been almost setups for Venus.
I think she must have watched Safin's last game, that drop shot, when he played Ferrero yesterday. A couple of weak drop shot attempts, but she's losing her way now, and the key to a successful drop shot is disguise and making sure your opponent's in a position where they can't scoot in to hit a winner, which Venus did.
But could Serena's thinking be, I want to cut way back on the unforced errors?
No, she doesn't want to hit a lot of ground strokes because she has a feeling Venus is more consistent than she is. And she doesn't have that confidence to really go for those big shots like she did against Capriati. She had some pretty big ball against Capriati, and I haven't seen that brand of tennis yet today.
Venus still under 50%. 47% for serves.
I think it's a good idea that Serena continues to mix things up as long as she just picks her spots, because Venus not particularly comfortable at net as well.
As we see there.
I'm going to let you take over this. You don't jinx, obviously.
You see, what happened to her is that, watch when she comes in. At first, she's going to take a full swing. Then she decides just to push him. That indecisiveness has cost her now 2 break points.
I don't see these players. I'm one to talk. It's hard for me to criticize these players because I never came in the net. But, I mean, it just seems to me they need to do it in the early rounds when they're winning really easily.
Oh, Serena's return on the line. And it's been a series of breaks being traded by the sisters. And now we're back on serve once again. French Open Moments, presented by BNP Paribas. The success of American women at Roland Garros is long and storied, especially over the last 50 years. In 1956, Althea Gibson became the first African-American to win a Grand Slam title. In 1972, tennis legend Billie Jean King triumphed on the red clay. The most dominant woman at Roland Garros, Chris Evert, a 7-time champion. After becoming a U.S. citizen in 1981, Martina Navratilova won here twice. And last year, Jennifer Capriati capped an amazing career comeback to claim the title. And today, another American woman will hold the trophy aloft. Yeah. And there are the trophies to be awarded, honoring the great French tennis star Suzanne Lenglen, after whom the second stadium here at Roland Garros is named. This court last year renamed in honor of the late head of the French Federation of Tennis, Philippe Chatrier.
Philippe Chatrier, in case the viewers don't know, was the president of the French Federation and the ITF, and he was very instrumental in getting tennis into the Olympics. And Suzanne Lenglen, of course, was world champion for many years. Very flamboyant player.
Well, the sisters are continually serving from behind here.
The last thing you want to do is get back in the set is make a couple of easy errors, put the pressure right back on yourself. It's a second serve at love 30. The ball almost hit her head. The toss was so low.
Well, each has broken the other twice already. Now Venus has 3 chances. They go up 5-3. Well, that was obviously way too easy for Venus Williams, who will now serve for the set.
John, I think what's so frustrating for me is to see Serena Williams annihilate everybody else in the game of tennis and play such beautiful tennis, and then getting up against her sister in these last few Grand Slam tournaments, and like in the first set here, she's just not the same player. It's a different person altogether.
Just gives you an indication that it's hard for us to imagine watching how difficult it is to play your sister.
The emotions that must be running through her right now.
And of course, this was never more evident than at Wimbledon 2 years ago when Serena lost 13 games in 5 matches. Clearly the dominant player walked out.
Everyone was picking her to win the tournament the way she was playing.
Let's not forget, though, that she was a game away from losing to Capriati. There's Martina Navratilova.
Won this title twice. Oh, there it is. She seems to have a gnat on her shoulder.
Glad you brought that up.
Of course, her best surface, as we all know, is grass. Still managed to win at Roland Garros, though.
When Martina's commentating and they put you on screen, do you think she said, of course, Chris's best surface was clay?
Yeah, better. Martina's still going strong in the doubles. She and her partner Zvereva lost in the first round, they had to play the first seed, but they had them lost in 3 sets. It's unbelievable that she's been able to keep her level up that high. She also won a clay court tournament in Madrid, I believe, playing doubles. Of course, you have half the court. It's a little different than
For
singles.
starters, and now we're building her up, and she lost first round. I mean,
Yeah, but against the top seed. She still loves the game, that's for sure.
Well, Venus Williams trying to close out this set. Saves 1 break point.
well, it's one thing that makes one of the things that makes women's tennis exciting is the fact that you certainly don't know, like you do in men's, if you're going to hold serve. That's for sure. I sometimes wonder whether these players or Jennifer Capriati would prefer just to return.
Yeah, just decline.
You
It's
go
like
ahead.
in football,
Yeah.
just decline. Well, we've had 6 breaks in 9 games. And Serena Williams is still alive in the first set. Serena Williams still alive in this first set. We've had 6 breaks in 9 games. And again, neither sister has reached the quality of tennis that they have in previous matches. But unlike their previous meetings in the Grand Slam finals, this one's close.
And very competitive. I mean, you can tell by the looks on their faces. They both are eager to win this. We talked about Serena not having won a Grand Slam in 2.5, 3 years, but Venus has never won the French Open. She's won Wimbledon and the U.S. Open, so she's looking to win the Australian and the French also to add to her collection. And there's that play, John, that we were both talking about, hitting from behind a person.
It's so much more difficult on this surface to stop and get your body back going in that opposite direction. An effective play by Serena.
Who seemed a little tentative. Serena dictating the play.
I like the way she really gets on top of that ball, takes it up high, which makes it a far easier shot. Don't take any chances at 4-5 in the first set.
That play Serena always say it's tough to play her because there's so many surprises. They never, she never hits 2 shots the same way. There are no surprises here. Venus knows her game. Serena's inside and out. They've practiced for so many years. I think that's why Serena was trying to throw in some drop shots and come into the net to maybe surprise her big sister. Shot. Those are the shots we saw against Jennifer Capriati.
So much easier than when she gets that first serve in, and that's where you want to hit a ball in a tennis court. It's difficult to even tell which way she's going. Percentage that it's going to, the odds it will go in or higher. Now we have a chance to see 5-all first set. I tried to massage it that way. Or just,
but again, Serena, a couple of big points that got her first serve in.
I'm just happy she's still in this first set.
and so this roll along that's a set point if it drops on the other side.
That could be the turning point of this match. You never know.
Errors with 2.
She's got the smoother of the 2 serves. She uses her legs better.
She does. I like her serve better than Venus. Looks a little off balance sometimes on her serve.
But Venus at 6'1", who's significantly taller, could improve her serve markedly if she worked on it.
And Serena prevails, holds her serve, and will play on at 5-all. Venus Williams had an opportunity there. The string of breaks, however, stops. Serena holds. Now the serve back to Venus at 5-all. We've talked a lot about the 3 semifinalists. How about the 4th? Clarissa Fernandez, Argentinian, came in ranked around 100. Made the semis.
Lefty, yeah, the lefty. And it's nice to see another player besides Gabriela Sabatini. I mean, there's been a big, hole there ever since she left the game.
While watching the first set against Venus Williams, I kept thinking this young girl has never seen a ball hit to her like Venus was hitting.
But you know what? She caught on in the second set. She caught on. She was right in there.
Enough of this talk about Fernandez now. Because Venus suddenly is in trouble. Played another poor service game. Love 40. As much as we love lefties. I don't know if that's a tired serve, an angry effort, or not even into it.
She missed it again.
That wasn't easy to miss.
And so, Venus, who looked like she was poised to take the first set, missing this easy one, will now allow sister Serena.
Oh, we know who Mom wants to win.
She'll serve for the first set. I've talked about the service, erratic serves of these two, but when they hit, there's no question what Venus and Serena can do as we look at the Porsche fastest speeds of serve during the women's tournament here. Venus at 119 and change, Serena 117. Capriati in there. Former NCAA champ from Stanford, Marissa Irvin. That's the requisite Stanford pop for today.
There you go. Well, it would be only fitting now that this went to the tiebreaker, as weird and wacky a set as this has been. Serena drops the first point on her service game.
had 7 breaks in 12 games.
It's almost like she's missing the slower pace balls. You know, they like the power. As soon as you throw them an off-pace ball, that's when they have problems.
Venus right where she wanted it. That's the perfect time to go behind your sister, because she was on the full run going the other way, trying to get herself back in the point. But to hit that in the bottom of the net, that was a serious jerk.
Serves 73 miles an hour.
There's the serve.
She's got 2 in a row.
It's like when she takes her time, she's better off.
Serena Williams. It's almost hard to believe the changes going on at the end of this set. Now it's set point for Serena.
I don't know if the wind caught that shot by Serena or what happened exactly, but Venus was way too far away from that volley. It's giving Serena, the younger sis, a set point now.
Serena Williams storming back from love 40 to hold and take the first set, 7-5. Well, a set that Serena Williams is happy to have won. How she did it is almost hard to figure. As we look at the stats, can either of you help?
Well, the first serve percentage.
Doubt it.
Yeah, I mean, the first serve, 46 and 44, below 50%. That shows me nerves. They're both really nervous.
And what you see, obviously, is that Venus, who's not going for as much as Serena, has made far more errors. That's what cost her in the end, that and her second serve.
So Serena takes set 1. Back with set 2 next. A little dark cloud hovering overhead, but that looks to be an isolated cloud on what otherwise has been a nice afternoon in Paris. Serena Williams taking the first set, Venus to serve in the second. Serena won 5 of the last 6 games in that first set.
She hasn't quite figured out that top spin lob yet, Serena. Earlier it was a little long. This one too short. The two-hander. It's a pretty easy winner for Venus.
Taking turns, coming to the net.
It's a different feeling for Serena to play from ahead. When she's had the big matchups with Venus, she's been playing from behind.
Yeah, she plays great. Even against Capriati, she played better when she was behind. She gets, I don't know, a little tentative when she goes ahead. But Venus wants to establish herself early in this second set.
She needs to hold her own serve.
So that was nicely done. Serena didn't have a lot on her previous forehand. Venus stepped right in, took it early. Saw that it would be tough for Serena to recover. Now, believe it or not, Ted, she has a chance to hold here.
So far, this game is like they're playing on grass. I've never seen so many volleys in one game on a clay court from these two.
Whoa. A rocket off Serena's racket.
That previous point, you can see where Serena is advanced because she saw Venus was going to chip that backhand. She zipped right in, took it in the air, and then gave her the confidence to go for a winner on the next return. Surprise, surprise. Break point, Serena.
With a second serve.
That's a tough part of the court when you're about 3 feet behind the baseline to try to go for that shot. A little too excited there. That was some defense by Venus Williams.
And it's not a posture you see them in very often. Either of them in very often.
And the good thing was that she immediately went on the offensive. From one shot where she seemed to be out of the point to the next thing you know, she's at net.
Shots in this match.
Well, you said it before, Chrissy. Venus doesn't slide as well as Serena. And this is a perfect example right here. She slid into it and found herself off balance and missed a shot, which is a pretty makeable forehand.
Yeah, those legs are so long. Oh. That looked a bit shaky.
Where did that angle come from?
Yeah, that.
Serena Williams has broken her older sister 4 consecutive times. Well, now we see the rare moment where it's Venus, the bigger sister, trying to compose herself. It's completely unable to hold her serve against Serena.
I think Venus would have an easier time dealing with beating her younger sister rather versus Serena. I think Serena's still having conflicting feelings about beating Big Sis. I really do. She's the more emotional of the two.
There are 5 sisters in total. The other 3 are older, not are here. Sisters have traveled with their own trainer, physical trainer Carrie Brooks, some other business representatives. Oracine on the left, Jovan Savic, who's been their hitting partner here in Europe the last couple of years. 2 aces for Serena.
Croatian. They both practice with him. Funny enough, they practiced with him until today, and they practiced with each other before a final when they played each other.
Serena now holds at love. And she's about poised to be exerting her will on this match as we look at the Aflac trivia question. Last time women from the same country met in the French Open final. We know it's Spanish men. We'll wait and see what it is for the women.
Happening quite often.
And tomorrow we'll be with you with Juan Carlos Ferrero. He's sort of been anointed the successor to Guga's crown. Can he pull it off against Albert Costa?
And that is what, 9 a.m.?
Live 9 a.m. Eastern.
Certainly looks right now that tough match that Serena had with Capriati the other day is really helping her pull her through, because her level of play has picked up significantly, and Venus looks like the one that just doesn't know what to do. She's not had a tough match into the finals.
The third set of the semifinals, Serena looks so much the stronger player. All the work she spent on fitness in the gym through the years paying off.
That shot.
That is a monster return.
That third set against Capriati, I've never seen her play better on hard courts grass on any surface. And now we're seeing the same type of tennis.
She's been able to loosen up a little, having that first set under her belt. It's Venus about to go down a set, and now 2 breaks. Talk about not wanting to have to serve.
That's almost painful to watch that. #1 player in the world, and she can't hold her serve. 5 times in a row, Venus has been broken. And now, Serena is starting to smell the finish line. Our Aflac trivia question. Last time women from the same country met here at Roland Garros in the finals, 1986. Chris Evert, Martina Navratilova. Did Martina win a couple just to break up the tedium of you winning every year, Chris? Is that what that was about?
She killed me, boy. In one, I think I got 4 games in one final. She got those groundies going.
Well, Venus better get something going because this is heading south in a hurry here.
Well, she had the pressure on her.
Well, Serena's answering your question about whether or not she's been able to overcome her feelings about her older sister. It looks to me like she's pretty pumped up to win this.
So far.
Now poised to try to go for the finish. And the way this is going after a first set that took over an hour, unless Venus gets it together quick, this will be over quick. Serena talks openly about a match she played against Capriati last summer on the hard courts in Canada as being the match that was a turnaround for her.
Well, it was right around the U.S. Open time when she started talking about becoming #1, and we'd never heard that from her before. I mean, the good news for both these women is for them at Wimbledon and the Grand Slams, if they continue to be 1 and 2, they're at opposite ends of the draw. Bad news for the rest of the field. Can you imagine? Every player now has to beat both of them.
Right.
That would be like in my era having 2 Martinas from the same family. That wouldn't have been a nice feeling for me.
Hey, don't get upset there, Chris. First it's Venus's long legs, and now it's
well, finally an opportunity now for Venus.
Now you know how Hingis felt at the Australian Open. She managed to beat both of them and still didn't win it. And she lost to Capriati when she made her incredible comeback. I mean, last year, not this year.
2001 Australian Open.
She did defend her title. So remember, Jennifer has won the first of the 4 Grand Slam events. Don't forget me, she says, when it comes to Wimbledon.
And I'm sure Lindsay Davenport would like to say the same
Well,
thing.
Lindsay,
Just like to be playing again.
Lindsay and Hingis, when they come back, they have to be twice as good. They have to be more fit than when they left the game.
Well, here's one break.
So Venus has a little pulse again at 3-1. Serena's second set.
I think this might call for an underhand serve.
So Venus Williams was just about at the edge of the cliff. Now if she can finally hold a serve, she may pull herself back. We talked about Capriati. After a period when the women were spreading the wealth, it's been 2 that have been dominant the last 2 years.
Can't believe looking at that list, Serena hasn't been on it. She's too good a player to have only won 1 Grand Slam in the last 3 years.
She's had to contend with her older sister. We've seen has won 4. Capriati's made a magnificent comeback to win 3. Hingis is probably wondering the same thing. How come it's been so long since I've been able to win 1?
Jennifer, who's going to be looking at Wimbledon now. That's one title she hasn't won. I think she was exhausted at Wimbledon last year, mentally drained from her French Open. So she'll be a different player this year.
So we go all the way back to Lindsay Davenport's Wimbledon championship in '99. 11 of the last 12 Grand Slams won by American women.
Serena continuing to just nail those ground strokes, especially on the forehand side. This is her best shot and her worst enemy. But it's working for her now.
batting average today. Venus Williams has held serve in 2 of 9 games.
The Suzanne Longland Court is named for France's greatest tennis heroine. Suzanne was not only invincible, never beaten at Wimbledon, but she was très chic. Elegance on the court. She showed her ankles and her calves, liberating women from long skirts and whalebone corsets. She turned pro in 1926, made $100,000, and that paved the way for the wealthy women of today. And the stylish ones, like the sisters Sledgehammer, Venus and Serena. Oh, are they wonderful to look at on the court. There they were in beads when they came along, like the Queen of Sheba. And even here, Serena, who wore red dress and red shoes at one time, dressed in a Cameroon football outfit for a couple of days. And that really wowed the crowd during the World Cup. They are both so elegant, and they hit the ball so hard. But it was all started by Suzanne Longland.
On whose court all of the 4 quarterfinals for the women were played. In honor of her memory, the women were not thrilled about it.
What Bud did not add was she was known with several of her matches to take a nip of brandy during changeovers. That's in a lot of the historians report that.
Your grip on the racket a little bit, huh?
Yeah.
Ease the tension.
I wouldn't advise that nowadays, but it's a different kind of a game back then, I guess.
And while Serena retired the Cameroon outfit, which was a unique look, she wore to support the Cameroon World Cup team in her first 2 matches here.
Linda Long, her Puma representative, was saying that she was getting so many letters when she stopped wearing that outfit from fans saying, why aren't you supporting the team? And, you know, basically, they need to sell some clothes, these companies, if they pay these players the big bucks, right? Oof.
I thought those socks were in deference to Keith Van Horn, the Nets. Venus, now it's her turn to break serve. Just moving
casual.
Serena around. Maybe she can fatigue her so that she can actually hold. What is that, by the way? You said it was 2 out of 9. She's
222 batting.
That's about, what, $4 million a year in baseball?
It's good you're paying attention. And it's Venus with the break. You know, there's a match here earlier when Jennifer Capriati beat Amy Frazier, but there were 11 consecutive games in which serve was broken. And
well, this is clay. Now, this is clay. We're not at Wimbledon, where Chris, that would really be, you know, unheard of. I mean, the clay is slower. It takes a little more time to get those returns back. And Jennifer Capriati's best shot in tennis is a return. Probably Amy Frazier's also.
2 out of 9.
I mean, I didn't mean to shut you up there, Ted.
No. I got under your skin there. I like that.
Hold tight. Looks like there's potential hold. The grip may be broken.
Oh. And she hit that forehand stretched out wide. Faultless.
See a serve into the body. Mix things up a little here.
That's a good play because they make great shots when they're on the run or stretching, but maybe start to hit right to them a little bit.
It's tougher to take that full swing.
So Venus finally holds. Serena still up a break in the second. Venus and Serena have achieved so much in a short period of time, and nothing, as Venus said, was a prouder moment for her than the Sydney Olympics when Venus stood aloft as the singles gold medalist. Serena did not qualify for singles, but they did pair up the sisters in doubles. And as they've done virtually every time they've teamed together, they just went through the field. It's an amazing thing for players who have achieved what they have. You hear this in just about every sport. There's some feeling, as Venus said, when you stand on a podium and you hear the anthem playing, you have a medal around your neck. It is hard. It's hard to duplicate.
I wouldn't know.
Neither would I.
It must be unbelievable.
I wish. Davis Cup was
well,
something that was
Davis Cup, Fed Cup,
game, United States of America. That's a tricky issue, the Olympic issue too, as well as seeing professionals. I guess it's sort of an accepted thing now in all sports.
I think the thrill, as you allude to, John, the thrill is greater for the professional players who experience the Olympics than it may be for the fans, because for the fans it's just another tournament with the same faces.
Serena's got to win this match. And she has to take it to her, and she has to get back dictating each of these points like she did that point.
Now some wind blowing up.
And the clay comes up. It gets very swirly down there. It's like a dungeon.
That's exactly how I felt. Chrissy won it 7 times and she felt like it was a dungeon. Imagine how I felt.
I hated playing the match before you, though, because if I didn't end that match quickly, there were boos. It was not a pretty sight because they wanted you out there.
See me go through my agony? Giveaways from Venus.
And Serena now starting again to sense it, 1 game away from a French Open championship. Well, Venus Williams finally held in the last service game. He's got to hold again to stay alive.
Will become #1 first, but Serena is the better player and she has more talent. He always said that. And I think this tournament, we're seeing this talent, and we're seeing a mentally tough Serena Williams who's able to block out who she's playing right now.
That was a fierce first set.
Oh.
This set's been more like a Williams sisters match where things have happened quickly.
And sometimes you mishit a ball to your benefit. That's what Serena did. Venus didn't really want to come to net. And Serena suddenly realizes that she's only 2 points away.
You can sense the excitement in Serena, but she's trying to really contain herself.
It's falling apart for Venus.
3 points that she should have won, and yet she finds herself down 2 match points. Crowd wants more.
What a great point to end it. And Baby Sis has finally won it. Got what she had wished for several days ago. And how strange does it seem to say that at age 20, she's finally a champion again.
And Venus has learned a tough lesson today, and that is the realization that she's going to have to play her best in order to beat her little sister, which she didn't do today. And credit to Serena Williams. Who would have thought that she'd be winning the French Open at such a young age?
This family, these pair of daughters, so strong after being raised and educated very well by a strong set of parents, are now the best in the world. And as you alluded to earlier, the road for anyone else just got a lot tougher. And today it's Serena's day, her second Grand Slam championship, this one on the red clay of Paris. Preparing for the championship presentation, and this time it's Serena Williams who will stand up tall with the championship trophy. Mom Oracene very proud watching, and Bud Collins is with her.
Mom, congratulations. How did you get through that?
It was easy. You know, I didn't really have to root for anyone or try to encourage anyone, so it was pretty calm.
Why did Serena win?
Because she was more determined and more tenacious today.
Why would she be more determined?
Because she hasn't won one since 1999, and being a top player, that's kind of bad on your record, don't you think?
Will it be tough afterwards with the two of them?
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all.
How proud are you?
I'm very proud because I think they both did very well.
Congratulations. Here's the Mom of the Year.
And we'll come back with the trophy presentation to Paris. Serena Williams, the winner. Ted Robinson, John McEnroe, Chris Everett, and Bud Collins all back with you in Paris. The sisters Williams to participate in another championship trophy. And again, only think back to Wimbledon and how distraught Serena was after losing to Venus. Maybe that's what having 4 of these will do for Venus.
It's worked out well, actually, because it was, as Chrissy pointed out earlier, Serena surprisingly winning the first one. Now Venus roared back with 4. Now that's what she's telling Venus. Look, you understand. It was my turn. This is only number 2 after all. I'm still 2 behind.
The trophy today is being presented by the great Olympic skier in the Grenoble Games of 1968, Jean-Claude Keely, now a member of the IOC.
It's strange that they give the winner her trophy first. It sort of makes it a little tough on that runner-up.
You know she's bursting, though. She's the more emotional of the 2.
She's got some smile, that's for
yeah. Sure. And Oracene genuinely happy.
You know how things change so quickly. Here's Serena Williams, who in the last couple of years has been in danger at several points of falling out of the top 10. Now she's number 2. She has her 2nd Grand Slam championship trophy, and it's possible that at Wimbledon this year she could overtake Venus for number 1 in the world.
Venus has, as we pointed out, won Wimbledon the previous year. Where's Venus going, by the way? She's got a lot of points to defend. And Venus seems to be getting a camera.
She wants something here. It is a camera
to take a picture of her
to record the moment.
All those camera people out there are saying, that's what I'm here for.
How great a sport is she, boy?
And again, how times change when Serena won in 1999 at the U.S. Open, the first championship for the family. Venus had a hard time masking her disappointment, hiding under a hooded sweatshirt.
Doesn't seem too disappointed, Venus.
So now she's asking for
how to use the camera. Do I need a flash?
Yeah, because hers is a manual.
It's a manual.
Wait.
Hello.
More people are taking pictures of Venus, taking pictures of her sister.
It's something to watch 2 young women grow up before your eyes, and we've seen that with these 2. 21 and 20, and how poised they are now.
Well, now we know what Richard told them before the match. Whoever wins, the loser takes the picture.
They've handled everything that's come their way so beautifully. And, you know, even in their press conferences, they're entertaining, they're charming, they're intelligent.
You know, that's the greatest credit that the parents should get, more than the tennis championships, is what these 2 young women have developed into. And we've watched it the last 2 years, I think, before our eyes. And the bond between the 2 of them seems absolutely unshaken.
She'll have her turn, believe you me.
The coup de grace would be here if they speak in any French at all.
If they speak French, then I'm walking out of here.
All right, we're going to hold you in suspense for just a moment and come back and listen to Venus and Serena. Serena Williams, the champion. Down to Serena.
Premier, je voudrais dire merci à ma mère, maman. Everybody that was here to support me, Carrie, Jobin, just everybody. And aussi Venus, parce que pas avec her, I'm not here today. Mon français est pas bien. I would like to thank, really though, my God for allowing me to be here today and just do what I was able to do, and Venus for supporting me all the way and just being the best sister in the whole world, and most of all, I would like to thank the French crowd here because I love playing here at Roland Garros, and j'espère cette... Et prochaine année, je voudrais faire encore.
You're still here, John.
No, I'm not.
First, I want to say félicitations, Serena. Bravo. Okay, I'm going to try some French. Je suis très content de rester ici cette année et j'espère retourner l'année prochaine. Merci beaucoup. Mom, thanks a lot. It's our first Grand Slam with you together. Also, I just want to thank also Diane from Reebok. She's here all the time, my silent supporter. And also my trainer, Carrie, for helping me play the championship, because without her, I would always be injured. Thank you.
What a moment. Both of them preparing a few lines in French.
Talk about being well prepared.
Yeah. That was Sandra Dujenkin, the chair umpire. And now Serena to hold aloft the hoop, Suzanne Longlong. How many more times will we see this?
Supposedly their weakest surface, clay. Amazing.
And Chris, you raised the point, and it's so important that by being number 1 and number 2, they are guaranteed that at Wimbledon, and as long as that continues, they will be on opposite halves of the draw.
This is a day for younger sisters all over the world.
So Serena has her day, her second Grand Slam championship. Bud Collins will speak with the sisters when we return to Paris. Venus has just finished another round of photographs, shooting Serena standing alone with the championship trophy, and now down to Bud Collins.
Viva Williams! It was a Williams day, but were you showing us out there that you're changing your profession to photographer?
Well, just trying to get some good shots and good memories, but I'll stay a tennis player, I think.
What are the memories of this extraordinary day?
Well, you know, it was just a tough match, and I think the best player won. I did my best out there, but hopefully there'll be another final for me. Hopefully I get the victory.
I think you might make another final, but what went wrong with your serve?
You know, it was just sunny and windy, and it was tough for me to get control of my toss out there.
You couldn't get control of your toss. There were a lot of unforced errors. Is it still tough psychologically to play your little sister?
I just think that both of us wanted to win so much that we're just a little tight out there.
Well, a little tight, but a wonderful match. They've never seen anything like it around here. Thank you so much, Venus Ebony Star Williams. And now the champion is coming. Here she comes. What a day. Stade Roland Garros has never seen an occasion like this. Going way back to 1928. And here is the champion, Serena, Her Most Serene Highness. Your mother told us that you wanted it more. Was that right?
I don't really know. I think after winning, doing so well in Berlin and in Rome, and to come here, I think it would just be natural for me to do well here also.
Do you think that it was tough on Venus having no difficult matches, and you had that real wowzer with Capriati in the semis.
I think maybe that might have helped me a little bit because I was down and out, and somehow I came back, and I don't know. Hi, Danny.
What was it like being in this magnificent arena with 17,000 people surrounding you, and they'd never seen this before?
I've never seen it this packed here. Even when my semifinal match, it wasn't this packed, and I don't know, Venus and I, we're playing great, and I guess people want to come out and see us.
All right, it's 5-6 in the first set. You're down 15-40. Could the match have gone south at that point?
I think so. Obviously, if I had not held my serve there, maybe it would have been a tough tiebreak, but I don't know.
What was the difference? What do you think was the difference between big sister and little sister?
I think the first set was really important. We had a lot of, it was almost an hour long. It was over an hour long. And when you win a long set like that, naturally, when going into the second, you're a little more pumped to finish it because you don't want to go 3 sets at that length.
She's #1 in the world, but are you #1 in the Williams household?
No, she's #1 on paper, so hopefully I can get there soon. I'm just really excited that I was able to win here at Roland Garros, and I mean, I'm #2 now. Hopefully I'm almost a solid #2, so I'm just really excited.
We're going to see more of you, the face of a champion, Serena Williams in Paris.
And the Williams sisters have now conquered clay. Next, the grass courts of Wimbledon. That's the next time we'll see them play. No warm-up events. As Serena Williams today wins her second Grand Slam championship, 6 in the Williams family. So the ladies champion has been crowned in Paris for the 8th straight Grand Slam championship. It is an American, but the tables turned on this day as Serena Williams finally overcame her older sister in a championship match. The 20-year-old Serena Williams winning at the French Open, her second Grand Slam championship. And certainly very little disappointment from older sister Venus, who has 4 of her own. And the Williams party now moves on to the grass of Wimbledon after a stay in the States, where Venus will get those pictures developed. And we won't see them again until Wimbledon. They choose not to play any of the warm-ups. Well, Serena Williams today fulfilled a prediction many had, that it was her time to come back into the winner's circle. We'll come back to wrap up this day in Paris next. A more competitive match than the Williams sisters have played in their prior championship meetings, and this time, little sis prevails. Serena Williams holding a championship trophy with a championship smile, and big sister Venus, a great sport, capturing the moment on film for the family to remember forever. Serena Williams, the 2002 French Open Ladies Champion. And tomorrow we'll be back at 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific on NBC with live coverage of the men's final of the French Open, a battle of Spaniards, Albert Costa and Juan Carlos Ferrero. Coming up next on NBC, 3rd round coverage of the Senior PGA Championship, and then later today, War Emblem goes for the Triple Crown in the Belmont Stakes, all part of a great Saturday on NBC Sports. Now for John McEnroe, Chris Everett, and Bud Collins, I'm Ted Robinson. We'll see you tomorrow in Paris.